like everybody, I was extremely surprised. It's a very brave thing, a courageous thing to do on the part of the Pope. I think it is a courageous step on his part to admit his failings, and he's never been shy to do that. When he's made mistakes, he's admitted it. Like the incident with Bishop Williamson, where he apologized to the bishops and others and to the world for not having done his research properly and things like that. So he's a man who's not scared to say, I made a mistake, or I am now no longer physically able to do so, and I think it's a mark of his courage. I've seen him, I think, 3 times in the last year. One was the interfaith meeting in Assisi, and it's clear that he's getting frail. The first time I met him, it's more than 20 years, was in Notre Dame here in Jerusalem. And it was a fascinating meeting. It was a meeting in which I wanted to understand his theological world outlook, and I asked him about the relationship between the church and the Jewish people. Many questions in which he gave me fascinating answers. And after that I was really able to understand his theological world outlook. So when things happened, or when documents came out which caused some concern or even misunderstandings, it was possible for me to understand what he was saying because of that conversation. He said to me, you know, if you are true to Torah, there is nothing false in you. Anything that has religious significance for you must have significance for me, because you are our roots. I said, you say if we Jews are true to Torah, there's nothing false, but we're still not complete in your eyes. He said, that's another matter. I said, well, Your Eminence, if I've understood you correctly, you're saying that if we Jews are true to Torah, we will go to heaven, but we will not get Class 1A seats which are reserved for Catholics. So he laughed and he said, you know, I wouldn't put it that way. But this gave me an understanding of how he sees the relationship of the church to the Jewish people, with a unique relationship, because while in effect he saw other forms of Christianity as branches off the main trunk of the tree, maybe Islam as the fruit that had come from the tree, he saw the Jewish people and Judaism as the roots of the church. It was very difficult to come after John Paul II. John Paul II was this larger-than-life individual, the master of grand gestures, who understood the power of images, the first pope to meet with Israel's officials, the first to receive chief rabbis and to establish a bilateral commission with them. Going in his footsteps, which Benedict did, totally committed to the lines of John Paul II, is not as sensational and is not as historic, but in some ways it's even more important. Because you could have said these actions of John Paul II, these were unusual, if not peculiar actions of a man who had a special personal history, a childhood experience with his Jewish community, and a special world outlook. The fact that Benedict XVI followed in his footsteps and went also to the synagogue in Rome and came here to the Holy Land and met with Israel's leaders and has even emphasized the importance of this relationship with the chief rabbinate, has in some ways then made these actions not the individual actions of a pope, but the actions of the leadership of the church. So I think in terms of Catholic-Jewish relations, we will look back on Benedict's papacy as a very important consolidation of the groundbreaking initiatives of John Paul II. I met with him many times, and of course with John Paul II also many times, and it was a great privilege with both popes. And what did not come across with Benedict, what has not come across with Benedict in the same way, is his personality, because he is not the great communicator like John Paul II is. He's not a charismatic personality. He's a much shyer personality, and he's a very intellectual, theological, professorial person. And therefore he's a much more, in a sense, private person, but he's an extremely warm, extremely pleasant company, and he has a good sense of humor, and he likes to joke, and he's a delightful person. So that humanity of the man was not always understood or appreciated by the public at large.